I know what you're thinking. Arvin, this is probably the most stereotypical Asian dilemma of all time, or at least one of them. And yes, you're right, but despite what you think, it wasn't because I was forced into either choosing computer science or becoming a doctor, and those are my only two career options. I genuinely had interest in both computer science and medicine, and I kind of was trying to figure out which one to choose when I was in high school. I'm serious, man. But yeah, at the end of the day, I chose to pursue medicine, and I don't regret my decision at all. But in this video, I want to talk to you about why I decided to do medicine instead of computer science, kind of the pros and cons between both, because both of them are hard journeys. And yeah, maybe I might have a little bit of bias towards medicine because that's what I ended up choosing, but I recognize there are things that, someone might prefer computer science over than they do in medicine because of certain differences in the fields, because they are pretty pronounced. At the end of the day, it's your experiences that will kind of shape this a little bit better than just myself talking to you on this camera. Hopefully you pick up something that might help you make that decision. So let me start out with computer science, all right? So I feel like computer science is probably one of the most stable jobs right now. There's just so much demand for people that know how to do computer science things. Not me. As you can tell, I do not know what those things are other than coding, but I know there's a high demand for it. Another thing that I was considering is that, at least here in the US, a bachelor's degree in computer science is a 4-year degree after which you can get a pretty high paying job. And so computer science is a really great field, I think, for job stability and getting a position that, will pay you well. But there's this book called The Unfair Advantage, and what this book describes this unfair advantage as is basically something that gives you a leg up in being successful in some way. So for myself, my father does computer science as his career. I remember when I was younger, he would always teach me how to do different things on the computer, and I always thought they were really interesting. And if I decided to go down the computer science route, I had someone that could very easily teach me ahead of time and get me more advanced on things and learn about new coding languages, I guess. I don't know, different computer science stuff that, would have helped my job prospects even more. And like I said, I enjoyed problem solving, and I took a computer science course in high school, and I enjoyed having to think about and visualize these different solutions to these problems that we had. But I remember those classes were like 90 minutes each, right? And I remember for the first 45 minutes, I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like, I'm engaged. I'm really interested in what I'm doing. But then after that, I'm like, can we leave? That experience showed me that while I found the field interesting, I didn't think that I saw myself doing this as a career, coming into a 9-to-5 and working on, I guess, a much grander scale of similar thing. I think another really cool thing about computer science, it's kind of similar to medicine, right? Like, there's just so many applications of computer science, right? Like, you can code, I don't know, apps. You can code websites. But then you can also code machine learning algorithms or artificial intelligence robots, and develops machine learning algorithms that help analyze radiology images. There's just so many applications of it. So that was something I also found really interesting about the field. So those are kind of the pros of computer science. Now let me talk a little bit about medicine. So what really gravitated me towards medicine was also a very similar breadth of knowledge that you become exposed to, right? While we live and breathe and survive every single day, medicine lets you explore how you live, breathe, and survive every day, and how you even carry out the functions that you need to do. And I haven't learned way too much about it yet, but from what I know, there's just so much detail in even the most simple thing. I think what kind of puts the the phrase puts the frosting on the cake, is that a phrase, is the fundamental nature of medicine, right? We've been studying medicine for thousands of years. The systems that we're studying, the body systems or whatever, haven't evolved a crazy amount, but over these thousands of years, we've only understood, certain part of the body. And while we understand a lot, there's just still so much more to understand. Becoming a physician, going to medicine, you have opportunities to explore more, provide more research into understanding humans. You get to use your understanding to help people directly. You get to use your understanding to also teach people, whether it be medical students, residents, your patients. And there's just so many options that make it such a valuable career to me. And here's the thing, guys. I don't know what kind of doctor I want to be, right? All I've decided is I want to do medicine. And that's another thing that I enjoy, is there is such a breadth of experiences that you can have. that it doesn't even matter, if you've decided you want to be a surgeon, you want to be a radiologist, you want to be OBGYN, it doesn't matter. You can just go into medicine and explore it and figure out what you want from experiencing little parts of everything. And I think the coolest part is, and this is a point that Ali Abdallah makes in one of his videos, and where he talks kind of about the same thing. He mentions that it's easier to be a doctor that wants to learn how to code than being a coder that wants to learn how to become a doctor. Coding, you can literally go on Google and look up how to code, and then you find videos teaching you how to code. You can't really look up how to be a doctor and watch videos teaching you like how to be a doctor. They'll just take you on the journey of the places you need to go to become a doctor. You can actually master the fundamentals without actually getting, your degree. So that's another thing, right? Like if you find an interest in applying computer science into medicine, I think it's easier to get your medical degree and then learn how to code, somewhere down the line, maybe even during medical school. And that's kind of the stance that I've adopted. I still find a really big interest in computer science, and I've kind of been expressing that by, watching a lot of computer science YouTubers. But I think that by doing medicine, I'm setting myself up in a place where I'm not going to be regretting anything. I have this desire to become a physician, and I'm able to do that by pursuing medicine. But I also have this interest in computers, computer science, that I will also be able to explore sometime down the line as a physician, and potentially even an application to being a doctor. And that's kind of what really fascinates me about it. But yeah, this is kind of a short video, but that's kind of my thought process of thinking, between computer science and medicine. I think the most notable difference that, is kind of obvious is that as a medical doctor, you're responsible with working with patients. You're having direct contact with the people you're affecting. Meanwhile, in computer science, a lot of times you're developing systems, you're developing platforms that then other people will use, and your interaction with the people that are using your product or whatever you're developing is not often very direct. You're kind of indirectly affecting them. But then at the same time, you think of like breadth of impact. I heard that Uber is making a transport service to hospitals, right? And so they're using their existing infrastructure and their network of drivers to help address one of the biggest problems in rural communities in terms of medicine, and that's transport. People that are developing this platform for Uber Health are maybe not directly impacting the people, they're not seeing the people they're impacting, but the scale or the number of people they're impacting is just so great, like the breadth of people. And so I don't know, if you're someone who wants to create kind of systems and develop these platforms that, large numbers of people can find use in, I think computer science is a great fit for you. And maybe you don't really enjoy, working directly with the people you're helping, then, I think computer science is a great fit for you. But then if you are someone who can't see yourself working a desk job or working from home and want to be someone that is directly witnessing the people that you're helping and helping them face to face, then I think medicine is a perfect fit for you. And if you have these kind of side interests, medical degree allows you to explore those later down the line. So, that's just kind of my thoughts. And who knows what's in my future? All I know is it's gonna be in medicine. I'm gonna be dealing with patients, and maybe, just maybe, I'll learn how to code.